This is a contract gem identified as the most useless. Being thrown away like trash should have been its final fate. But when you saw its cut surface, which looked just like matcha jelly, a bold idea suddenly sprouted in your heart. Then, regardless of everything, you ate it in public. The whole school mocked you as a delusional lunatic. But what they didn't know was that you had actually contracted yourself and gained absolute control over your body. Right then and there, you ordered yourself to do 500 push-ups. But you didn't know that this was only the beginning, because after you absorbed the energy of the second gem, you saw the most shocking truth of this world. At this moment, you used a knife to cut open an awakening stone that the world saw as waste. You were a bit disappointed, but just then, looking at the sliced crystal, you actually felt a hint of longing. The cut surface was smooth and translucent, with a bright, vivid color, looking exactly like matcha jelly. Wait, a crazy thought exploded in your mind. What if I absorbed it myself, controlling myself? 100% mastery over my physical body? This is an unprecedented path. At worst, the energy would just be lost. Without hesitation, you placed it in your palm, guiding the energy to merge into your body. Other creatures might reject it, but you wouldn't. As the crystal's energy entered your stomach, an indescribable feeling surged in your heart, as if your body and consciousness had perfectly become one. After a long while, you opened your eyes and whispered in your mind, "Go pour a glass of water." The next second, your body moved on its own. Like a bystander, you watched your legs get out of bed, walk to the table, pick up the glass, and pour water. The entire process was incredibly smooth and irreversible. Although it still consumed your physical strength, you didn't need to distract yourself to control it at all. Complete 500 push-ups. After finishing the water, you issued a new command. So, your body lay flat on the ground and began doing push-ups rapidly. 1 to 100. When you reached 250, your muscles were already aching terribly, and your willpower had reached its limit. But under an absolute command, your body continued regardless. Finally, the 500 push-ups were completed. You lay on the ground exhausted, unable to move even a single finger, yet a huge smile bloomed on your face. This is too interesting. This ability is simply the ultimate tool for self-discipline. Although it doesn't seem very useful for now, at least it lets you break your limits during exercise. The next day, in the early morning, you were still fast asleep, but your eyes opened automatically. Your body put on clothes, left the dormitory, arrived at the sports field, and started running. This was the command you set for yourself last night. Wake up at 4 a.m. to run. Your consciousness was still wandering in a dream, but your body was like a precision machine, faithfully executing the program. By 6 o'clock, when you fully woke up, you were already sitting in the cafeteria, with a bowl of white porridge and 3 steamed buns before you. Not bad at all. The corners of your mouth curled up wildly, praising your own genius idea. Just then, a commotion broke out nearby. Student Luo Shiyu, "Good morning, goddess, I've already gotten your breakfast for you." You looked toward the sound, knowing it was the school beauty from the next class, Luo Shiyu. She was extremely popular, with countless fans. Your former roommate was one of her followers. While munching on a bun, you habitually looked up. The next second, your pupils suddenly contracted to a pinprick. You abruptly lowered your head, using the action of drinking porridge to hide the turmoil in your heart. In your memory, Luo Shiyu was a slender girl with an exquisite face. But just now, what you saw was a giant fox-like beast over 2 meters tall walking upright. Its face was covered by a girl's mimetic disguise, strolling boldly through the crowd just like that, and everyone around was looking at it with eyes full of admiration, as if completely unaware. What is going on? Student Zhang Ping, good morning. When that strange beast passed by you, it gave a hoarse greeting that sounded beautiful to others. You screamed to yourself in your heart, calm down, stay calm. You nod without changing your expression. Student Luo Shiyu, good morning. Fortunately, it didn't stop and continued walking forward. You finish your breakfast at the fastest speed of your life, leaving the cafeteria as usual. As a mentally mature adult, you understand that you must not panic now. You walk calmly toward the teaching building. Your destination is the faculty office. However, when you reach the door and see through the glass the true form of a teacher inside, who is also a disguised strange beast, you walk past the door without changing your expression. Even teachers might not be reliable. This is big trouble. 2 are lurking in a single school. Then what about the whole city? The city. Who is actually in charge? You hide in a deserted corner with complex emotions. It seems my ability still has many things I don't understand. You are certain, before absorbing that crystal, you were just like everyone else, unable to see anything. Therefore, this change stems from that contract gem. You reach out your hand again, condensing a new gem, then absorb its energy without hesitation. Since one allows you to see the truth, then what about the second one? Boom! This time, the feeling is completely different. If yesterday was unity of body and mind, then now it is communion between heaven and man. Your 5 senses are infinitely amplified. The whole world becomes brighter and more vivid than ever before. You open your eyes. Your gaze sweeps across the classroom. When your sight falls on an empty desk, you keenly smell a faint trace of energy residue. Immediately after, a vision emerges before your eyes. The teacher on the podium is talking eloquently, while in the classroom, a giant fox is silently approaching a student. At the same time, 2 lines of cold text appear before you. Appraisal successful. Energy-stained desk. There was once a student of excellent character and academic standing, who was killed by a mutated beast without anyone noticing. This energy-stained desk loyally recorded everything. You are startled, immediately turning your gaze toward yourself. You stare intently at yourself. After a second, lines of text suddenly unfold before your eyes. Appraisal successful. Summon beast. Zhang Ping. Master Zhang Ping. Race human. Potential 3 stars. Lifespan 89. Talent. Contract gem. Can consume stamina plus mental strength to condense contract gems. Establish a deep link with the target. The target will receive a boost to their potential and luck. Repeated absorption can slightly increase own potential, and has a 1% chance to awaken a new talent. Absolute command. You have absolute sovereignty over the summoned beast yourself. Absolute obedience. Absolute obedience to the summoner's commands.
Instable appraisal technique.
Can perform appraisal on targets. Very small probability of obtaining information. Determination. The smaller the gap in strength, the higher the success rate. Appraisal result. Looking at this bizarre panel where you are both the summoned beast and the master, you don't know whether to laugh or cry. Does this mean I am both my own spear and my own shield? But then, a surge of immense joy overwhelms you. It turns out this ability isn't called useless gem, but is called contract gem, awakening new talents. This is truly equivalent to having infinite possibilities. Others only have one superpower, while you can continuously absorb energy. To unlock a second, a third. Now, you finally have a trump card to survive in this eerie world. You must figure out this Mingzhu city, whether it is actually a city of humans. It's still a hunting ground for disguised mutated beasts. You wouldn't want your desk to become a desk soaked in energy. At noon, you grabbed a quick bite and left the school. Using visiting Su Jing as an excuse, you actually wanted to investigate the patrol guard headquarters and see how many monsters are actually hiding in this city. Walking onto the main street, the world before your eyes completely overturned. Inside a cold weapon shop, a humanoid mutated beast sat with its legs crossed. While chewing on a piece of strange jerky emitting a golden glow, it was reading a newspaper. In other people's eyes, he was just a middle-aged man eating snacks. You looked straight ahead, silently chanting appraisal in your heart. Appraisal successful. Mutated beast. Tianchong Fox. Talent. Cognitive distortion, logic inversion. So that's how it is. They can distort others' perceptions, overturning common sense. No wonder no one noticed. You continued walking forward. Along the way, you saw more of them, Tianchong foxes. They strolled and chatted like normal people, even haggling over a few coins. Their words heated. They possess intelligence no less than that of humans. 2 hours later, you finally arrived at the patrol guard headquarters. The security here was tight, the atmosphere solemn and killing. It seemed completely out of place. With the peaceful world outside, you took a deep breath, walked up to the information desk, and looked at the smiling staff member in uniform. You spoke calmly. "Hello, I'm looking for someone." Behind the counter, that Tianchong fox asked in a raspy voice, "Hello, who are you looking for?" There wasn't a single unnecessary expression on your face.
Su Yao.
You gave the name. The Tianchong fox nodded, looking down to flip through the records. After a moment, it looked up. It raised its head. Those non-human eyes stared at you. Su Jingyao is still in the department. Su Jingyao is still at the headquarters. Should I call her over? Yes, please. You nodded, but your heart sank. The moment you nodded, your talent activated. Appraisal successful. Mutated beast. Tianchong Fox. Talent, cognitive distortion, logic inversion, unexplainable trust. Your heart tightened. This one is stronger than the one you met at school. His talent is more eerie and harder to deal with. You know very well why humans in this world can only stay huddled in cities. These monsters are naturally far stronger than you. Footsteps approached. You looked up, forcing a smile onto your face. Two Tianchong foxes walked over. The mimicry disguise of one of them was clearly that of Su Jingyao. It was clearly Su Jingyao's appearance. That layer of disguise emitted a faint glow, appearing utterly unreal, making one feel uncomfortable. Zhang Ping, why are you looking for me? The Tianchong fox disguised as Su Jingyao spoke, its voice equally raspy and non-human. You forced yourself to smile more naturally. I was just worried you wouldn't adjust to the patrol guard. How does it feel? If you can't stand it, just come farm with me. Who's going farming with you? I can only get stronger by staying in the patrol guard. I want to protect this city and get justice for my parents. It roared irritably,
perfectly replicating Su Jingyao's temper.
You let out a long sigh, as if truly feeling sorry for her. Alright, it seems you've adjusted well. Then I'm relieved. Are you really decided on farming? It asked again. You shrugged, your face full of helplessness and resignation. Who told me to awaken such a useless ability? I'm off. See you next time. Who knows when that will be. Goodbye. It nodded, turned and left, without a hint of lingering. You calmly walked out of the patrol team headquarters, looked up at the blindingly blue sky. After a long while, like a lost fool, you let out a long sigh. Then you turned and walked into the restaurant across the street corner. You took a seat by the window, with a perfect view of the patrol team's gate. You ordered the cheapest tea, and just sat there, like a statue. Anger didn't cloud your judgment. The angrier you were, the colder you became, like a block of ice. Recklessness solves nothing. It only makes you lose faster. You kept staring intently, until dusk fell. Once you got the answer you wanted, you stood up and returned to school. The entire patrol team, not a single living human. All of them were monsters in disguise. That was the conclusion from your afternoon of observation. No matter who it is, once they join the patrol team, it's like walking straight into a trap. The guardians of this city have been completely hollowed out by monsters. Mingzhu City is essentially an undefended giant hunting ground, and all of you are merely prey being farmed by them. No wonder. Even the school has seen heavenly foxes, because this city fell long ago. 3 months left until graduation. But for you, graduation has lost its meaning. You didn't leave school, nor did you attend those meaningless classes. Dorm, playground, cafeteria, a repetitive cycle. You trained your body like an ascetic monk, telling everyone it was to build a foundation for future farming. You weren't the only one doing this. Many students with useless abilities and no future chose to spend their days peacefully at school. However, you soon discovered a pattern. These seemingly ordinary students were actually the safest. The Heavenly Fox's targets were clear, either those who joined key departments like Chao Jingyao, or those with extraordinary talent like Luo Xiu. As for you, a summoner unable to obtain a summon, a recognized low-potential individual, destined only for farming. In their eyes, you were no threat, which became your best camouflage. Every day, you could feel yourself getting stronger. Physical fitness, potential, all improving at a visible rate. You used the contract gems you condensed as daily supplements. Whenever your stamina and mental strength recovered, you immediately took another one. After a few days, though no new talent awakened, the effect was astonishing. Now, you can do 1,000 push-ups in a row, and after finishing, your stamina recovers extremely quickly, no longer exhausted as you were before. One night, sitting cross-legged on the bed, you condensed another contract gem, absorbing its energy without a second glance. Suddenly, the whole world went silent. It was as if you were pulled into a soundless space. After several seconds, the sounds of crickets and frogs flooded back into your ears. You immediately cast appraisal on yourself. Appraisal successful. Summon Zhang Ping. Potential 4 stars. Talents, contract gem, absolute command, absolute obedience, unstable appraisal. Night walker, night vision acquired, presence and weight decreased at night, movement speed increased, complete invisibility in shadows. It worked. Your heart leaped. Indeed, another talent was added. No need to check the panel. Your body provided the most direct feedback. You leaped down from the bed, your body feeling light as a feather. With a light jump, your fingertips touched the ceiling, landing silently, like a feline. The pitch-black city outside the window was as bright as day in your eyes. Just then, You even saw a giant bird of prey with a wingspan over 12 meters, dragging rolling black smoke, gliding silently over the city. You gasped in shock. If that thing rushed down, the consequences would be unimaginable. This world is 10,000 times more dangerous than you imagine. You walk into the bathroom. The change from 3-star to 4-star potential is far more than just a single talent. You did 2,500 push-ups in one go, feeling like you could do 500 more. Of course, this is related to your weight becoming lighter, but the improvement is real. Your 5 senses have also become exceptionally sharp. You can even clearly hear the grinding of teeth in the next dorm. Now, what level am I? You lie back on the bed, starting to calculate your own strength. In this world, the level division is simple and blunt. Levels 1 to 9 are beginner, 10 to 20 are intermediate, above that are advanced and top tier. As for the legendary kings, not a single ghost of one has been seen in Mingzhu City. The next day, when you wake up, you find yourself automatically running on the playground. The sky isn't light yet, but your spirit is surprisingly good. Potential increase has even reduced the need for sleep. After running, your body automatically leads you toward the cafeteria. Everything is proceeding according to the orders you set last night, until that figure appears. Student Luo Xiu, good morning, goddess. I'll queue for you. What would you like to eat? The crowd stirs. Xing, a giant beast disguised as Luo Xiu, walks over slowly, surrounded by people. Even though your strength has improved, that chill from the soul still leaves you stiff. Suddenly it stops, right next to an excited girl. It extends its sharp claws, gently resting them on the girl's shoulder, leading her away from the line as if she were a dear friend, then nonchalantly dragging her toward the food counter, as if selecting this morning's companion in a buffet restaurant. You grip the chopsticks in your hand tightly, your knuckles turning white, keeping your head down, forcing yourself to stuff all the food on the plate into your mouth. You must finish before that strange aura drifts over, and then get the hell out. As you leave, many people in the cafeteria are still envying the one who was the goddess, chosen lucky one, to have breakfast with her. In their eyes, Xing is the goddess's favor, but in your eyes, it is a silent hunt. That girl is being taken away by a ferocious monster. Her figure gradually disappears into the crowd. Must figure it out. Must know the enemy's background. You clench your fists, rush back to the dorm, slam the door shut. Push-ups, 1,000 times. You give yourself the order. Sweat soon soaks your clothes, but you didn't stop. Sit-ups, 500 times. Frog jumps, 300 times. Again, your eyes are bloodshot, roaring at yourself in your heart. The entire morning, you spent it pushing yourself to the limit. Noon, after eating, rest for 2 hours. You start practicing boxing again. The things taught in boxing class flash through your mind. The 3 punches of Mingzhu. Ra-chis, for fighting weaker opponents, overwhelming them with momentum. Wolf Run, for fighting equals. A lethal blow. Chinyo, for wearing down the strong. Drifting to deflect force. Although there are only 3 moves, they are experiences bought with the lives of countless predecessors. You are not from the physical enhancement system, but you have a contract gem. Your potential has no upper limit. 9 p.m. You change into black clothes, slipping out of the dorm like a ghost. Lower year students are still sparring on the playground. You ignore them, just glancing from afar toward the girls' dormitory. The fist in your pocket clenches once again. Don't rush, Zhang Ping, you tell yourself. You are still too weak. Leaving school, you blend completely into the night. Night walker, your talent makes it seem as if you don't exist in this world. Passers-by walk past you, yet they remain oblivious to your presence. You begin to traverse the streets around the school, like a true hunter, silently recording information on the prey. You recall the knowledge taught in class. The eyes of mutated beasts glow at night. Basic is white light. Intermediate is green light. Advanced is blue light. Top tier is red light. Although you lack experience, making a rough judgment is still no problem. You discover the strength of these heavenly constant foxes generally ranges between intermediate and advanced, roughly around levels 19 to 25. However, after a few days, a huge doubt arises in your heart. Another basic one. You crouch in a corner, watching a heavenly constant fox not far away, its eyes emitting a bright white light. It is strolling brazenly through the streets. This defies logic. A basic mutated beast, no matter how eerie its ability, couldn't possibly deceive intermediate or even advanced awakeners. Level suppression is absolute, just as a primary school student cannot beat an adult in strength. But the fact is, these basic monsters are also running rampant in the city, walking openly in the streets, while the strong people around are all like blind men, completely unaware. Within this, There must be key information you don't know. You glance at that basic heavenly constant fox, turn and vanish into the deeper darkness. You already have a rough map in your mind, centered around the school. Across 16 nearby streets, at least 50 heavenly constant foxes are lurking. The strongest outside the school is probably level 25 or above. The one inside the school posing as a teacher is likely close to level 30. You don't even dare use appraisal on that monster. Intuition. A beast-like intuition warns you, as long as you dare to pry into it, in the next second, you will lose your life. This is not an illusion. You are 100% certain. That monster disguised as Luoshiu, its level is ridiculously high. It might even be a top-tier mutated beast. Enough intelligence. You do push-ups on the cold floor of the dormitory. Sweat drips down, but your mind is racing. I can't do this alone, no chance. But these monsters' abilities are too sinister. Even low-level ones can deceive high-level awakeners. I have no proof. Who would believe me? The only way is to get a carcass as evidence. As long as there is evidence, it might be possible to move the real big shots. However, hunting heavenly constant foxes is like poking a hornet's nest. You have no guarantee that after taking one down, you will be able to come back alive. In the end, I'm still too weak. Situps. 500 more. Gritting your teeth, you issue a forced command to yourself. These days, you absorb the energy of 2 contract gems every day. Your potential is growing. Your body is becoming stronger, but the new talent has yet to appear. The only thing keeping you from despair is this tangible feeling of daily progress. The next day, you open your eyes. The time is earlier again.
4 Uhr nachts.
The sky is still pitch black. The only sound on the playground is your panting as you run. The wind is cold. For a moment, you even feel as if you've returned to your past life's campus. If only there weren't these monsters. Whenever you think of the students who were devoured, your fists instinctively tighten. Suddenly, you seem to step on something hard. You stop in your tracks. Look back. Something on the ground is reflecting light. Abandon the morning run. Free action. You immediately order yourself. Walk back. It's a dark-colored ring. The craftsmanship is very exquisite. The patterns on it are eerie yet beautiful. Definitely not some cheap street find. Appraisal failed. Try again. Appraisal failed. You were startled. For ordinary objects, appraisal usually succeeds instantly, but this thing actually failed repeatedly. You went for it, frantically casting appraisal on it. After failing a dozen times, information finally emerged. Appraisal successful. Assassination ring. Once worn, all living beings will subconsciously ignore the wearer. Immune for high-level awakened and above. The moment appraisal succeeded, a scene violently rushed into your mind. A white-bearded old man, holding the ring in one hand and pinning down a tied-up man with the other. A golden light flashed. The man wailed silently. Streaks of golden light were extracted from his body and poured into the ring. The scene shifted. On the playground, a man in white wearing a black mask was fighting Luoshiu, clashing with her, but he was completely no match and was quickly defeated by her. His energy core was instantly destroyed. The scene abruptly ended there. So that's how it is. You realized it instantly. Cold sweat suddenly broke out. This is likely a bait left by the heavenly constant fox. You suddenly looked up toward the girls' dormitory. Complete silence. You forced yourself to stay calm. Gritting your teeth, you quietly put the ring on your finger. Throwing it away now would be more suspicious. Before dawn, while the night walker effect is still active, you must get back to the dorm immediately. You turned around and instantly vanished into the night. At the corner of the wall outside the playground, a yawning heavenly constant fox suddenly felt something was wrong. It looked closer and rubbed its eyes. The ring is gone. Oh no. It immediately jumped into the playground, lying on the ground, frantically sniffing for a scent. But amidst the mixed scents, it subconsciously ignored your scent. It searched around, but found nothing. No one had been here. How is this possible? The heavenly constant fox was stunned. It followed Luoshiu's orders and watched all night. How did the ring just vanish into thin air? No, someone must have come to deceive me. They must be at least intermediate level. It narrowed its long fox eyes and turned to run toward the girls' dormitory. At the same time, on the balcony of the boys' dormitory, you watched the fox leave and slowly let out a breath. The gamble paid off.
4 Uhr nachts.
The sky is starting to brighten. Your presence was already low, and after wearing the ring, it was weakened to the extreme. That thing didn't notice you at all. However, this ring absolutely cannot be worn during the day. Luoshiu, a monster of that level, would definitely see through it, so I wasn't the only one who found it. You returned to your room, rubbing the ring on your hand. That man in white was clearly hunting these monsters too. Why did he specifically target Luo Xiu to attack? Does she have a special status among the foxes? Still too little information. You couldn't figure it out, so you just collapsed onto the bed, stopped overthinking. But this ring did serve as a reminder. Strength doesn't just depend on training yourself. In this world, there are also various magical pieces of equipment. Tonight, you must investigate the price of equipment. You set your goal, glanced at the alarm clock.
5 Uhr morgens.
You can still sleep for 1 hour. You ordered yourself and instantly fell fast asleep. Suddenly, in a haze, you saw Su Jingyao. Her figure was blurred. Only her almond eyes were as clear as water, looking at you anxiously. Zhangping is in danger. Wake up quickly. A dream? No, wake up. You snap your eyes open. Without a moment's hesitation, you take off the ring, stuff it into your mouth. Gulp, you swallow it down. Then you close your eyes. Continue. A few minutes later, your dorm door is silently pushed open. Luo Xiu walks in. It paces around your room, as if patrolling its own territory, finally stopping before your bed, lowering its head. That mimetic disguise is almost touching your face. The wind from the balcony blows past. The edges of the disguise sway gently. Behind it, those narrow fox eyes are quietly scrutinizing you. Its sharp claws slowly extend, stopping less than a centimeter from your temple. You can even smell the scent of stale energy residue on the claws. A moment later, it retracts its claws, turns around and leaves. Outside the door, another Tianchong fox asks in a low voice, "Your Highness, why didn't you eliminate him?" Luo Xiu glances at it coldly. "Not him. Also, don't waste food." Yes. The Tianchong fox is frightened and immediately shuts its mouth. Luo Xiu looks back, takes one last look. You,
Fast asleep.
disappears at the end of the corridor with its subordinates. Half an hour later, you snap your eyes open. Your heart is still racing. This was way too dangerous. I can't be careless at all. You glance out the window, confirming they are gone. Only then do you breathe a sigh of relief. You just commanded your body to sleep, but your brain remained awake. The moment it entered, you figured it out. You didn't appear on the playground after 5. This abnormal behavior aroused suspicion. That monster, whether its strength or speed, you couldn't even withstand one of its moves. You could only gamble. Gamble that it doesn't know you took the ring. Gamble that it can't see your flaws. Gamble that it, toward someone like you, with low potential, has no appetite. You won the gamble again. Training is too slow. Must get some equipment. You sit on the edge of the bed, shivering from the lingering fear. That feeling just now of being the prey on a chopping block. You don't want to experience it for another second. To avoid appearing abnormal, you braced yourself and went to the cafeteria. However, as soon as you entered the cafeteria, you heard everyone discussing one thing. Black Death Star has fallen. Black Death Star, the most notorious lone wolf in Mingzhu City. Legend says as long as the price is right, he'd even dare to target the city lord. While eating breakfast, you kept your ears open. The remains were found this morning in a sewer near the school, gnawed beyond recognition by beasts. The white clothes were covered in golden traces. The black mask on the face was shattered into several pieces. Your heart skipped a beat. White clothes, black mask. Could it be the man you saw in the ring's illusion? In other words, the one you thought was an ally last night was actually a lone wolf working for money. Wait, Luo Xiu is an orphan just like you. Who would pay a high price to hire Black Death Star to deal with her? Unless someone else also discovered these disguised monsters, and then, in a simple and crude way, directly spent money to hire someone to eliminate the exotic beasts. Your expression became strange. This is actually a good method. No evidence needed. No need to convince anyone. As long as there is money, a lone wolf doesn't care if the target is human or beast. Unfortunately, he failed and alerted the enemy. After finishing your breakfast, you returned to the dorm. Regardless, exercise first. You condensed a contract gem and absorbed its energy. Suddenly, a wonderful sensation of universal sublimation erupted from within. You froze for a moment. A new talent? You immediately cast identification on yourself. Identification successful. Summoner, Zhang Ping. Potential 4 stars. Rank, Junior Awakened. Level 2. Talent, stable identification. Can identify targets. So it upgraded. You felt a surge of joy. Identification went from unstable to the stable version, and it now shows levels. In other words, I can now see the monster's levels during the day. This improvement is crucial. Today is a great day. Let's start with 2,000 push-ups to celebrate. You smiled and began warming up. After the level up, your stamina and mental strength both increased by about 5%. Though not much, every little bit counts. As night fell, you put on the assassination ring and left the school. With Night Walker and the assassination ring, you are now an absolute ghost. You stopped at a street corner and cast identification on a Tianshang fox in a shop. Identification successful. Mutant beast. Tianshang fox. Rank, intermediate mutant beast. Level 15. It worked. Now that you have a lead, you began wandering nearby, noting the level data of each Tianshang fox in your mind. Half an hour later, you arrived at a weapon shop called Iron Soul. You had your eye on this place for a while, because the owner is human, and most customers are adventurers, a group just like you, marginalized people, mostly orphans. If you go in, you won't arouse suspicion. You observed for a while, and while the shop was empty, you walked inside. A wave of heat hit you as you entered. In the far back was a massive furnace. A frail old man leaned against the wall, puffing on a long-stemmed pipe. He didn't even lift an eyelid. You ignored him too, and began browsing the weapons on the display stand. 9-ring Ghost Axe Blade, priced at 500,000. Ghost Scythe, priced at 600,000. Suddenly, your eyes lit up. A snow-white weapon resembling an extended Shou-chun blade lay there quietly. Cold Maiden's thin blade, length 1.88 meters, weight 80 gene, forged from the essence of an ice leopard. Attacks carry innate frost. A fine blade. With excitement, you looked at the price tag, and then your heart felt as if it had been sliced by that blade. Completely chilled. 2 million Mingzhu coins. You did the math. An ordinary farmer, working for 666 years without eating or drinking, could only then afford it. Your heart sank. You knew these things were expensive, but you didn't expect them to be this expensive. Old man, you looked around, and found that even the cheapest items cost over 10,000. So you braced yourself and walked up to the old man. Is there anything cheaper? The old man slowly took a puff of his pipe. A full minute and a half passed before he lifted his cloudy eyelids to look at you. He asked sluggishly, "What did you say?" You had to ask again. "Old man,
I'm asking.
Is there any cheaper weapon?" The old man stared at you for a long time, as if his signal was delayed by half a century. Finally, he gave an irrelevant answer. "My son is waiting for me to eat." You were completely speechless. Right then, a middle-aged strong man rushed in frantically. He was wearing tattered camouflage clothes, with an inverted triangle physique, arms thicker than your thighs, carrying a pitch-black greatsword on his back. Clearly a seasoned veteran. "Sorry, little brother. The shop is temporarily closed." He put down his weapon, walked over and said to you. The old man saw him, and immediately looked displeased. "Cho Chang, where did you take Dashin wandering off to again?" "Where's Dashin, Uncle Lu? Why did you open the shop again?" The man named Cho Chang looked bitter. "Didn't I tell you to wait for me at home? I'll find Dashin very soon." The old man took his pipe and whacked him on the head, scolding him for being a disappointment. "All you do is mess around all day. Hurry up and tell Dashin to come home for dinner." All right, I'll tell him to come home in a bit." Cho Chang nodded repeatedly. "Let's close the shop and go upstairs first." The old man whacked him with the pipe again. "I'm staying here. What if a regular customer comes by?"
Fine.
"Just stay here. Don't go anywhere." Cho Chang could only compromise with a bitter smile. Suddenly, he noticed you trying to slip away. His eyes lit up. "Student, want to be an adventurer? Little brother." "Wait," he stopped you. You turned around. "Something wrong? Let's chat." Cho Chang squeezed out a flattering smile. You hesitated for a moment, but eventually nodded. The two walked outside the shop. Cho Chang habitually took out a cigarette and offered it to you. You waved it away. "Little brother, you're about to graduate, right?" He tucked the cigarette behind his ear, getting straight to the point. "Almost." You nodded. "About the blacksmithing trade. Any thoughts?" he asked cautiously. You immediately understood what he meant. Glanced at the somewhat senile old man in the shop, playing along with him. Better than being a farmer. Yes. Better than being a farmer. He felt like he'd found a kindred spirit. Farmers in this world aren't just about farming, fixing roads, repairing walls, handling the city's trash and sewage. Except for fighting, they do all the dirty and grueling work. "Big brother, you mean?" You pointed inside the shop, seeing that you caught on. Cho Chang just laid it all out. "To be honest, that's my uncle, my biological uncle. His son, who is also my brother, Dashin, went missing a while ago. Now Uncle Lu is a bit confused. I want to find someone to take care of him and look after the shop at the same time. Of course, I'll come by when I'm free to teach you a few tricks. I guarantee you'll master it. How about it?" "Let me think about it." Your mind raced. "Not only room and board, but also a monthly salary of 100. I'll think it over. I'll give you an answer tomorrow." You were somewhat tempted, but you also had concerns. That missing Dashin was likely devoured by the Tianchang fox. Although the dorms are dangerous now, but Luo Xiu, only only targets girls. Boys are relatively safer. However, this morning's room inspection dropped your sense of security in the dorm to freezing point. Fine, think it over carefully, Cho Chang said, suddenly shoved a short sword into your hand. Take this as a gesture of friendship. The city hasn't been peaceful lately. Be careful. After saying that, he turned around and went back into the shop. You planned as you walked, subconsciously drew the short sword. As the scabbard opened, a flash of cold light. Your pupil's contract. The material of this blade is actually the same as that 2,000,001. Cold lady, exactly the same. The blade is snow white and translucent. The chill is piercing. Good lord, this gift is far too generous. You instantly made a decision. It's too stupid to entrust your life to a monster's taste. What if one day, Luo Xiu wants a change of taste? That's settled. I'll agree to it tomorrow. You play with the blade, unable to put it down. You might as well give it a name. Beauty's tears. As you walk back, you simulate battle scenes with the blade in your mind. While passing a park, your steps suddenly stop. On the swing, a 1-meter-tall Tianchong fox cub is sitting there. Identification successful. Mutated beast. Tianchong fox. Level 3. Weak. Very weak. Your heart starts beating wildly out of control. Evidence. This is the best evidence. Eliminate it. Send the remains to the investigation team. Then it might be possible to uncover everything. Mingzhu City might still be saved. You can no longer bear to see classmates treated as prey every day. Can't bear to walk the streets and pretend not to see those murderous monsters. You turn around. Your right hand grips Beauty's tears, the hilt of the blade, possessing a sharp weapon. The intent to kill naturally arises. Without this blade, you would definitely not have the courage. However, the moment you stepped into the park, a hand pressed onto your shoulder. Don't move. A woman's voice sounds in your ear. A bone-chilling cold comes from behind. An ice type awakened. Your restless heart instantly cools down. Not the Tianchong fox, nor is there killing intent. Don't look back. Don't speak. Take this. Leave this place. After the woman finished speaking, she stuffed a note into your hand. A second later, the chill behind you disappeared. You didn't look back, pretended to look for something on the ground, then left the park without looking back. To be able to, Night Walker and Assassination Ring, find you under the double effect of, this woman's level is definitely much higher than yours. Could she be the one who hired someone to deal with the mutated beasts? You mutter to yourself, return to the dormitory, didn't look at the note immediately, lay down to rest directly. The next day,
4 Uhr nachts.
You woke up on time, walked into the bathroom, sat on the toilet, and slowly opened the note. There were only 3 words on it. 23, Wu Lian, and you frowned. The 23rd, for days left. This is an appointment to meet. But Wu Lian and Nan Yu, what the hell kind of place is that? Your head aches. This code is clearly to guard against the Tianchong fox. In the afternoon, you are filling out the graduation application. A sudden flash of inspiration in your mind. What if I read it backwards? Yunan. You shuddered, instantly understood. This isn't some profound puzzle, but definitely not many people would know. The other party knows very well, or rather, knows the original owner of this body. Near the orphanage, there used to be a beef brisket ramen shop. The character for brisket on the sign was cracked. It looked like Yunnan, and the small park behind the ramen shop. This is where you secretly practiced martial arts as a child. That shop went out of business 4 years ago. Those who know this secret are fewer than 5 people. You tore up the note and flushed it down the toilet. You picked up the completed graduation application and strode out. The application went exceptionally smoothly. A seemingly ordinary student nobody would care about. In the evening, you packed all your luggage and headed straight to Soul of Iron. As soon as Cho Chang saw you dragging your suitcase, a huge grin spread across his face. Little brother, you've come at the perfect time. I have a mission tomorrow. I'll be back in about 5 days. I was just worrying about who would look after Uncle Lu. He enthusiastically pulled you up to the 2nd floor. You were assigned a room to stay in. Only then did you find out that Cho Chang's real name was Cho Chang. And Uncle Lu, his full name is Lu Taifeng. He is 797 years old this year. That night, Cho Chang decided to teach you a few basic skills first. Xiaozhang, watch closely. He put on fireproof gloves. Standing before the furnace, you concentrated, staring intently at his movements. You saw him take a few iron ingots and some crimson snake scales and throw them into a wooden tray. A piece of refined iron Costs about 6,000. Is it expensive? Every piece might be stained with the sweat of miners and adventurers. You fell silent. These crimson refined snake scales can fuse with refined iron under high temperatures, giving the weapon a self-repairing function. But it must be formed in one go, otherwise it's ruined. As he spoke, he threw the entire wooden tray into the furnace. Then, he reached his hand directly into the fire, stirring quickly as if kneading dough. Flames licked his arm, but he didn't even flinch. Watch closely, the most critical step. He gave a loud shout and scooped a glowing red mass from the fire. He quickly placed it into a rectangular mold, then grabbed a giant hammer and hammered frantically at the protrusions on the mold. "Help me bring that red oil over here," he roared, panting. "You used every ounce of your strength to lug that 1-meter-high oil drum over. Not bad, you've got some muscle." Cho Chang smiled, unscrewed the cap, and poured some fire oil onto the mold.
Boom! A loud explosion.
Steam surging. He opened the mold, and a pitch-black battle blade with red veins appeared before you. He picked up the blade and swung it violently against a testing stone. A flash of blade light, and the hard testing stone was sliced smoothly in half. This is the most common standard blade of Pearl City, the Pearl Blade. You were completely stunned, but you quickly snapped back to reality. Even with this technology, Pearl City is still riddled with infiltration by the Tianchong Fox. This kind of blade, can it hurt a mid-level mutated beast? You asked. Cho Chang smiled. It's okay for low-level ones. Mid-level? That depends on luck. Alright, your turn to try. He handed the fireproof gloves to you. You took a deep breath, put on the gloves, and stepped forward. Imitating him, you put the materials into the furnace. Instantly, a terrifying heat wave hit your face. Your eyebrows curled right then and there. "Don't back away. Feel the change in the materials," Cho Chang shouted from behind you. You grit your teeth, reached both hands into the flames, and grabbed the glowing hot mass of material. "Knead it. Make them uniform." Only then did you realize, this thing is 10,000 times harder than kneading dough. You used all your strength, rubbing and kneading desperately. Sweat instantly soaked through your back. Faster, otherwise the materials will burn away. You felt the dough in your hands. The dough in your hands finally merge into one. Get it out right now. Stuff it into the mold. Then go get that big sledgehammer. That's when you realize, this hammer is ridiculously heavy. You can barely lift it with both hands. You strike it with everything you've got, until the protrusions on the mold are flattened. Then you pick up the fuel and pour it on. Boom! Steam bursts out. You let go, unable to hold on any longer. You plop down on the ground, completely exhausted. "Have some water." Uncle Chong hands you the water. You take the cup and drain it in one go. He looks at you. There's a hint of admiration in his eyes that wasn't there before. "Not bad. I thought you wouldn't make it. Seems those teachers at school are blind. With your kind of tenacity, you'd easily make it into the big three." You wipe your mouth and ask the question you've been holding back for days. "Uncle Chong, everyone always talks about the patrol and investigation teams. What exactly is the third organization in the big three called?" Uncle Chong just shrugs, as if it's obvious.
No idea.
It's been like that in Mingzhu City since the beginning. Everyone knows there's a third organization, but what it's called, where it is, or what it does, nobody knows. You're stunned. Good grief. The whole city is playing a game of mystery. You thought the original owner was just ignorant. Turns out nobody's ever seen it. Enough. Whatever it's called. It's probably some secret assassination department. Uncle Chong slaps the mold. Had enough rest? If so, let's see your first piece of work. You stand up. Your palms are sweating. Uncle Chong motions for you to do it yourself. You grab the switch and pull hard. And suddenly, a weird silver glow emerges from the mold. You frown and look at Uncle Chong. Failed as expected. Uncle Chong curls his lip. He picks up the blade. The blade is covered in messy silver threads. Compared to the beautiful red patterns of the Mingzhu blade, it's as ugly as a defective product. He walks to the testing table, swaps in a new stone, lifts the blade and strikes. A flash of steel. The stone is completely unscathed, but the blade, snap, it breaks clean in two. The tip flies off and sticks firmly to the large magnet nearby. Clean this up. Uncle Chong throws the broken blade to you. His tone is unreadable. You stare at the break, stunned. The furnace was too hot. It roasted you like a pig, which is why your strength failed you toward the end. The folding was a complete mess. Then, Uncle Chong sits down and gives you a detailed breakdown of every mistake you made. You keep nodding along. This is 10,000 times better than those empty theory classes at school. Painful question suddenly occurs to you. Uncle Chong, that last batch, how much money did I lose? Uncle Chong sighs, about 60,000. Your heart skips a beat. Your face turns pale instantly. 60,000. Even selling you wouldn't be enough to cover the loss. Ha ha ha. Look at how terrified you are. Uncle Chong suddenly bursts out laughing, slapping his thigh. I'm just messing with you. I'll teach you how to recycle once there's more scrap. If you can actually mold it in one go. Dashin would have to call you senior brother before he can finish laughing. Grandpa Lu's pipe lands precisely on his forehead. Uncle Chong lets out a yelp, shrinking his neck in pain. Stuck up Chong. This kid's talent is even greater than Dashin's. Where did you drag him from? Grandpa Lu's eyes clear for a moment. Then he lapses back into confusion. Where's Dashin? Where did Dashin go? Uncle Chong sighs. He pats your shoulder. His tone is heavy. Take care of Uncle Lu. I have some business to attend to. You nod in agreement. Uncle Chong is quite a chatterbox, but he nagged you for another 10 minutes before finally leaving. Only the sound of the burning stove remained in the shop. You poured a glass of water and walked over to Grandpa Lu. Grandpa Lu, have some water. The old man ignored you, keeping his head down as he smoked. A moment later, Grandpa Lu suddenly looked up, his gaze as sharp as an unsheathed blade. That's enough. Put the glass down. That guy is far gone now. You were startled. I'm not crazy. Grandpa Lu snorted coldly, his tone calm. Something happened to Dashin. I'm aware of it. Changzi wants to investigate, and I'm afraid he'll get dragged into it too. So I had to play dumb to hold him back. As long as that guy has worries in his heart, he'll be like a turtle, not daring to throw his life away easily. You were shaken. What a performance, playing the fool. Is this the way of a seasoned veteran? Grandpa Lu, aren't you afraid I'll tell Uncle Chong? Would you? The old man asked back, a smile in his eyes. You shook your head helplessly. I won't. That settles it. The old man blew out a smoke ring. Changzi's teaching is too poor. For the next few days, I'll teach you the real Lu-style dough kneading. The Lu family's craft cannot end with my generation. The next day at 4 a.m., you arrived on time. Grandpa Lu was even earlier than you, already waiting for you in the third-floor studio. Come here, knead the dough. The old man threw you a basin of real flour, mixed with hundreds of iron beads of various sizes. Put on the blindfold and knead all the beads out. When you can distinguish dough lumps from iron beads by touch alone, that's when you've officially started. Without a word, you blindfolded yourself and got to work. The flour was dense, mixed with iron beads, making it extremely rough on the hands. You calmed your mind, focusing all your attention on your fingertips. All morning, you struggled relentlessly with the dough. In the afternoon, the old man began instilling various material knowledge in you. Crimson refined snake scales. They release heat at high temperatures and can self-repair. To deal with it, you must first strike its vital point. This experience is all hard-won knowledge paid for with lives. You learned rapidly, even more desperately than during the college entrance exam in your previous life. In a blink, it was late night on the 22nd. Tomorrow is the agreed 23rd. You plan to go first to Yuanan Park to scout the area. You put on the assassination ring, slipping out the window like an invisible man. The Tianchong fox monitoring you at the door was staring blankly at the sign, completely unaware that you had slipped right under its nose. 10 minutes later, you made it to the park. The shadows of the trees swayed here. The once empty park now unexpectedly exuded an eerie chill. Suddenly, you felt a pair of eyes staring at your back. You turned around abruptly. Your hand was already pressing down. Beauty's tears. Hilt. In the grass, a rat the size of an adult cat, covered in stiff fur, slowly crawled out. Identification successful. Mutated beast.
Armored poison tail rat.
Level 5. Talent. Venomous tail. Hardened fur. Your heart sank. Level 2 fighting level 5. And this rat's tail is venomous. One sting, and you'd be finished right here. You didn't flinch. What if this thing hurts the children at the orphanage tomorrow? Possessing a sharp weapon, the intent to kill arises naturally. You suddenly pushed off with your feet, charging forward like a cheetah. The rat was extremely cunning. Seeing you thrust toward its eyes, curled into a ball instantly. Using the momentum, it spun wildly to deflect the force. Your blade slid across its back fur, unexpectedly making a metallic scraping sound. The strike missed. You instantly retreated. The beast suddenly sprang back, its venomous tail whipping like a steel lash, striking repeatedly at your knees. You kept stepping back on your toes. Cold sweat trickled down your forehead. This is 10,000 times more exhausting than running on the school track. You suddenly stopped, changing your grip on the blade, planting your feet in a heavy horse stance. Bright fist. Rat chase style. You accelerated again. The rat's tail coiled toward your wrist like an S-shaped viper. Now's the time. You let out a roar, dropping your center of gravity sharply. This move tricked its defense. Your left hand threw a lightning-fast punch, hitting the rat square in the forehead. The monstrous force left it blinded. Then, The beauty's tear turned into a snow-white light, piercing straight through its eye socket. The blade pierced a vital spot. The rat tried to sting you with its tail one last time before dying. You leaped back sideways, watching its carcass twitch twice on the ground. Then it went completely still. Huff, you panted heavily, looking at the golden liquid covering the ground. Luckily, it's nighttime. Your night walker speed bonus saved your life. A few minutes later, just as you left, two women appeared by the carcass. One wearing light green military uniform, one wearing a frost mask. Sister Cece, do you think this guy is a human or a fox? The woman in uniform picked up the rat's carcass. The masked woman in white looked in the direction you left, her voice cold and clear. I hope he's human. If you're not sure, just strike directly. But he didn't eat this rat just now. The woman in uniform sighed. Maybe he really is a human. Let's go. We shouldn't stay here long. After the woman in white spoke, the two collected the rat's carcass and quickly vanished into the night. The next day, before dawn, you decided to try once more.
Dock Kneading Forging Technique.
Cracking open a contract gem, you threw the materials into the furnace. This time, you were mentally prepared, bracing yourself firmly against the searing heat wave, gritting your teeth and starting to knead. Suddenly, a sharp pain hit your stomach. You couldn't help but gasp. Who knew that this gasp would cause the flames in the furnace to act like a fire snake and be, whoosh, sucked right into your nose? A warm current flowed down your throat into your stomach. You instantly felt a surge of energy. Your movements became much smoother. A new talent. Your heart leaped, but you didn't stop working. Grandpa Lou beside you glanced at you, without saying a word. A moment later, the old man suddenly spoke. The furnace temperature is too low. Add wood. Only then did you react, quickly freeing one hand to add fuel. After some frantic scrambling, you finally managed to stuff the materials into the mold. You plopped down on the floor, immediately checking your attribute panel. Talent, Fire Eater, can recover stamina by consuming flames, and convert excess fire into fire element energy stored in the body. This ability will gradually increase the user's heat resistance. You immediately noticed that your potential had dropped from 4 stars to 3. This sentence in the remarks made you realize instantly, potential is the treasure in your body that hasn't been developed yet, and you can mine it infinitely through contract gems. This path has no end, but as you are now, you are still a beginner awakened. Any intermediate one could rub you into the dirt. Unsurprisingly, the third forging failed again. You simply sat by the furnace, like eating at a buffet, continuously sucking the flames into your stomach. As soon as the fire weakened, you added wood, and then sucked again. Half an hour later, you feel that you are full. A warm energy flows through your body. With a single thought, that energy, like an obedient puppy, instantly concentrates in your fist. This feeling is amazing. This is truly your first superpower that you can actively control. By evening, you could already make a small flame dance around your fingertips. Besides being cool, this ability can also resist the cold. This gives you more confidence for the upcoming meeting. After dinner, you had another meal. Once you were sure Grandpa Lou was fast asleep, you put on the ring and slipped into the night. The park was deathly silent. You found a corner to hide in, waiting, while continuing to familiarize yourself with the fire element inside you. Suddenly, a black circle appeared beneath your feet. Before you could react, you fell right in. A feeling of weightlessness hit you. Everything around you was pitch black. You struggled desperately, even burning through the soles of your shoes, but you still couldn't stop the fall. 30 seconds later, you landed with a thud. Your whole body was trapped in a thick black liquid, with only your head sticking out. You have 5 minutes to prove you are human. A cold voice echoed. You looked up and saw the woman in white wearing an ice mask. The ice sword in her hand was already pressed against your throat. Prove you are human. Your mind raced. Could it be that you have no way to find the monsters hidden in the city? The woman didn't speak, but her silence gave you the answer. They knew there were monsters, but didn't know who they were, or how many. In their eyes, every single person here could be a demon in disguise. Damn it, how do I prove this? I'm not Sun Wukong. I can't just reveal my true form. Give me a hint, you asked tentatively. The woman remained silent. You were out of options, so you frantically used the appraisal skill on her. Appraisal failed. Appraisal failed plus 20. You began to wonder if your ability was broken. Finally, 2 minutes later, information appeared. Appraisal successful. Name Lu Sishan. Race human. Rank high level awakened. Level 21. So strong. You gasped. a high level awakened, and her potential was actually 5 stars. But there was no time for amazement now. You quickly searched through the original owner's memories. Lu Sishan, that name, not there. 1 minute left. Lu Sishan's voice sounded like a death knell. You panicked, and blurted out the names of all the girls the original owner knew as a child. Are you Lu Sisi, Lu Xiaoxiao, Lu Pingping? This doesn't prove you're human. Lu Sishan interrupted you coldly. True, this kind of information, if the Celestial Fox wanted to find it, they could. You stared at her, a flash of inspiration hitting you, and decided to take a gamble. Liu Sisi, Lu Sishan, only one character difference. You stared intently into her eyes, saying word by word, "Do you remember? When we were kids, you fell into the river, and I was the one who pulled you out. Because of that, the director made me stand in the corner for 3 days. That stone you gave me, I still have it." But she didn't react. Your mind raced, racking your brain for memories of Liu Sisi and everything about her. Suddenly, you remembered a stupid thing that only the two of you knew. You looked up, and although it felt a bit embarrassing, you decided to go for it. First form, ha. Second form, aya. Third form, aya. Heaven-shattering, earth-splitting CC invincible punch. In an instant, the air froze. Beneath that cold mask, a pair of eyes surged like a tidal wave. With a gentle wave of her hand, the ice sword at your throat turned into a pool of clear water, vanishing without a trace. You really are Sister Cece? You asked tentatively. She didn't remove the mask, but her voice had clearly softened. Second question. Your ability is the useless gem. Why during this time? Has your behavior been so abnormal? I absorbed the gem's energy. You answer half-truthfully. She is visibly stunned. Absorbed it yourself? Yes. After absorbing it, my mind became clear. Then I discovered 2 monsters hiding in the school. 2? Lu Cece's tone becomes serious. Are you saying you can accurately identify all the monsters in the city? You turn the tables on her. Don't you already know what the monsters in the city actually are? She falls silent. You realize immediately they are just a bunch of blind fools. You decide to add fuel to the fire. The monsters lurking in the city are all Tianchong foxes. Their abilities are cognitive distortion and overturning common sense. There are 2 in the school. Centered around the school, there are over 30 on every street. The patrol squad has been completely wiped out. Not a single person survived. You clearly feel that the face beneath the mask instantly becomes incredibly grave. I've noted down some of the Tianchong Fox's identities. You can go verify them. You look at her, throwing out your final bargaining chip. Lei Street, Wanshang Breakfast Shop. The proprietress is a fox. Juan Furniture, the owner is a fox. Longzhu Street, Longqi Polearm Workshop. All 3 blacksmiths are foxes. Go check. We'll talk after you've checked. You pause and deliver another blow. Also, within your organization, you'd better check for moles. Lu Cece remains silent for a moment, finally making up her mind. Stay right here. I'll be back soon. Do I look like I can move? You shrug. Meanwhile, in a secret room, a silver-haired old man, facing a glowing badge, finished listening to Lu Cece's report. Tianchong Foxes. He looks around. Sweeper Squad. Who has heard of the Sweeper Squad? A middle-aged man immediately answers. Descendants of the heart-eating phantom fox and the parasitic danger fox. It's very likely. A muscular man stands up, radiating an aura of violence. Captain, I'll go verify. The old man ponders for a moment, slams the table. Good. Yinbo, take the team. If the intel is true, bring me their remains. Yes, sir. Lei Street, Wanshang Breakfast Shop, 2nd floor bedroom. A 2-meter-tall fox is fast asleep. Suddenly, it snaps its eyes open, but it's already too late. An iron fist appears out of thin air, without any warning, striking its energy core directly. No sound, no energy residue. The fat man next to it didn't even stop snoring. Jean Bo picks up the fox's remains, and coldly utters a word. Move. At the same time, in the school dormitory, Luo Xiu suddenly opened her eyes, instantly appearing 100 meters in the air. Yu Zhou has fallen. Her voice was cold. Immediately after, she felt another aura dissipating. Another one has fallen. Roar. A roar of extreme fury turned into a terrifying shockwave that swept through half of Mingzhu City. Countless Tianchong foxes lurking in the darkness were awakened. But at this moment, Jean Bo's squad had already taken 2 remains and disappeared outside the city. The moment they left Mingzhu City, those 2 human bodies suddenly twisted and deformed, turning into 2 giant foxes. Well done. Jean Bo looked at the fox remains and flashed a sinister smile. Now I know what the enemy looks like. In the dark room, the badge in Lu Cece's hand lit up. Cece, Tian. The captain's voice came through. From now on, you and Manny are responsible for protecting Zhangping in secret. His trustworthiness fairness. Judge it yourself. I will cooperate with you to identify every Tianshang fox as much as possible. Lu Sisi returned to you and released the restraints on you. Verified. You moved your limbs and asked, She nodded, but we can't completely rule out that this is a trap. Therefore, for now, you can only serve as a spy. You smiled indifferently. As long as these monsters can be dealt with, what's the harm in being a spy? I have a question. You looked straight into her eyes. Why can't the high-level awakened in the city see through the disguises of these low-level monsters? Because Lu Sisi took a deep breath and gave an answer that made your skin crawl. In Mingzhu City, there is likely hiding a king-level mutated beast. Your eyes widened instantly. King? You've got to be kidding. Do we have a king on our side? No. You felt a chill rush from the soles of your feet to the top of your head. Then how are you going to fight it? Lu Sisi fell silent. The next second, a force pulled you upward. You returned to the ground. You returned to Iron Soul, lying on the bed. Only one word was in your mind. King. Not enough firepower. For the first time, a strong sense of helplessness surged in your heart. Since there is no king, then we can only rely on sheer numbers. The next day, you continued learning from Lu Taifeng. There are still many villages outside the city. The old man blew a smoke ring and said slowly, the people in those villages, we call them savages. They worship monsters as gods and capture living people as sacrifices. In the wild, sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't the monsters, it's them. You felt a shiver. This ghoulhound's claw. The old man threw a flat black object to you. It has earth-countering properties. Grind it into powder, mix it into kerosene, and you can create weapons specifically to counter earth-type abilities. You weighed the dog claw in your hand. A smell of decay wafted toward you. Grandpa Lu, what's the difference between this ghoulhound and a normal dog? Black fur, red eyes, a set of human teeth. Lu Taifeng blew a smoke ring. Concise and clear. An image of a dog wearing dentures immediately popped into your head. You almost laughed out loud. The entire morning, you spent it learning under Lu Tiefeng's guidance. After lunch, you sat by the stove. Flames ignited in both hands and began practicing newly developed moves. Flame palm, flame blade. You were having a blast, just like a child with a new toy. Just then, a timid voice sounded behind you. Excuse me, how much is this knife? You look back. You see a delicate-looking, almost feminine boy pointing at a knife. You stand up and walk over. You take a look. You glance at it. This one isn't for sale. It's a sample. Those are all too expensive. The boy looks a bit embarrassed. Sorry, I'm just an apprentice. I can't make the decision. You shrug. The boy leaves in disappointment. You look at his departing figure. You feel he looks familiar, but you can't remember where you've seen him. Martial arts gym. You suddenly remember that boy seemed to mention during the day that he studies at his family's martial arts gym. Those who can open a gym must be strong, right? You ponder this and decide to go scout the area tonight. Late at night, just as you climb out the window, you see Lu Sisi's figure flash through the alley. You immediately follow her. The next second, the ground vanishes beneath your feet, and you both appear in that familiar dark room. There's a problem. Lu Sisi gets straight to the point. When the heavenly fox attacks, in other people's eyes, that behavior will be automatically rationalized. If it attacks you, I'll need a signal. Otherwise, I might not notice anything. You frown. This is indeed a big problem. Last time, Luo Xiu's actions seemed just like treating someone to dinner to others. A signal might not necessarily work. You ponder for a moment. I'll prepare several backup plans. If I shout, "The wind is tight. Let's bolt," or toss a coin, or touch the ring on my right hand with my left index finger, it all means I'm being attacked. Liu Sisi nods. She takes out a wooden ring. This one. Is it fireproof? You interrupt her directly. She shakes her head. It's useless. You smile bitterly and open your hand. A ball of fire rises in your palm. Lu Sisi is clearly stunned. Isn't your ability the useless gem? This is one of its abilities. You don't explain further. You just extinguish the fire. Alright, she doesn't press further. Instead, she hands you a jade plaque. This is called cold jade. The one I have is warm jade. Once your cold jade is heated by fire, mine will become hot. At that time, I'll know something happened to you. After finalizing the plan, you leave the dark room and begin wandering the city at night. Half an hour later, you find a place called Beast King Boxing Gym, a martial arts gym. The place is brightly lit. Many adventurers are coming and going. Just as you walk in, a young woman in a martial arts uniform greets you with a smile. Student, is there anything I can help you with? You take the flyer and glance at it. The prices are ridiculously expensive. Beast King Boxing Secret Technique. 9,999 pearl coins. You click your tongue. You know a place like this has nothing to do with a poor person like you. But after spending 10,000 coins you requested from Lu Sisi as activity funds. Afterwards, you decide to step into the gym's inner room. There are already many apprentices in the room. Most of them are between 25 and 30. You look out of place until a youth around your age walks in. Hello, my name is Wang Jieming. The youth takes the initiative to come over and greet you. You nod. Zhang Ping. Just then, the instructor arrives, a muscular man in his 40s, with eyes like a wolf. You immediately cast an appraisal spell on him.
Name, beide.
Rank, high level awakened. Level 25. Another powerhouse. Baida doesn't waste words. He starts teaching immediately. The first 3 forms of Beast King boxing. Ape King style, Giant Crocodile style, Phoenix Claw style. Today we'll start with the Ape King style. You start practicing by following his movements. You quickly grasp the key points. However, Wang Jieming beside you is clumsy. The same movement, the instructor corrects it over 10 times, and he's still wrong. Are your feet separated from your lower body? Baida is sweating profusely from teaching. Finally, he is completely speechless. He looks at you, then looks at Wang Jieming, and suddenly speaks. You spar with him for a bit. You and Wang Jieming stand in the center of the field. Begin. You launch instantly. With a feint, you close in on Wang Jieming. Like a monkey, you circle around his arm and lightly land a punch on his face. The whole process is fluid and seamless, so fast that the surrounding apprentices can't even see it. Wang Jieming doesn't even have time to react. Stop it.
Beide sais.
He has clearly given up on Wang Jieming. But Wang Jieming refuses to leave, pleading with a miserable face. Instructor, I beg you, please let me learn for a few more days. You're a bit curious. This guy clearly has no talent, so why is he insisting on learning? You quietly use an appraisal spell on him. Name Wang Jieming. Potential, 7 stars. Talent, diligence compensates for clumsiness. Learning ability decreased by 90%. Any skill can be improved through persistent training. For every day of persistence, the growth rate for the same type of training increases by 10%, up to a maximum of 1000%. My God, you curse inwardly. 7-star potential, diligence compensating for clumsiness. This isn't a loser at all. This is simply a hidden super cheater. As long as he gets started and keeps at it, his growth rate will become terrifying. This guy is a real talent. You make a decision instantly, although he learns until his face is red and drenched in sweat. By the end of class, not even a single Ape King style did he manage to produce. In contrast, you, just by listening from the side, can feel you've touched the threshold of entry. Then, the two of you head back together. Through chatting on the way, you find out that this guy is actually a second-generation air-driven crazy by elite education. A second-gen. Brother Ping, let's practice again tomorrow. Wang Jieming smiles honestly, completely unaware that he's actually a late-game carry. You climb through the window into your room. As soon as you land, you feel something is off. To your surprise, Lu Sisi is already sitting at the desk, expressionless, waiting for you. Sister Cece, in the middle of the night, you're scaring me. You casually shut the window tight. Information has leaked. Lu Cece's voice is cold, with a hint of anxiety. Something went wrong with the cleansing operation. Someone was seriously injured. That Skyfox has an ability that makes people trust it inexplicably. You didn't mention it. Your heart skips a beat, then you shake your head in denial. The ones I identified for you definitely had no extra skills. Either they swapped identities, or someone with prophetic abilities is interfering. I'll look into it. Be careful lately. After Lu Sisi finishes speaking, her figure flickers, like a drop of water merging into the ocean, disappearing into thin air instantly. You look at the empty room, and can't help but complain. This person always comes and goes without a trace. It's actually quite convenient. By Saturday, early morning, after finishing a set of Ming Fist, you go through the newly learned Ape King style twice. Then, you return to the shop after buying groceries, preparing to start the day's forging practice. Grandpa Lu takes you for a stroll in the materials room, showing off a deep blue finger in a jar. See this? An ocean person's finger. 60 years ago, those monsters tried to land from the Changsha River. I was just a recruit back then, fighting alongside the city lord and those big shots. Ocean people are basically savages. You stare curiously at that bluish finger. Hybrids mutated from the sea. They worship the sea god and view land dwellers as mortal enemies. Grandpa Lu snorted. Then he pulled out a feather as red as blood. A firebird feather. This thing is the real treasure. Can ignite flames while flying. It's practically unstoppable. unstoppable as a hidden weapon. Unfortunately, it costs 50,000 pearl coins each on the market, and it's out of stock. You stare at the feather, feeling an itch in your heart. If I could get a blade made from firebird feathers, combined with your fire eater talent, wouldn't that be like an infinite fuel lighter? By the afternoon, closing time, Grandpa Lu went upstairs to rest. You were just about to finish work when suddenly, the door was flung open. Cho Chang walked in carrying bags and parcels, cursing and grumbling as he entered. The scent of soil mixed with energy fluctuations could be smelled from 3 meters away. He plopped down in front of the counter, spitting out angry profanities. It was clear he'd had a rough time in the wilderness. Uncle Chong, what happened to you? You quickly step forward. Cho Chang rolls up his sleeve. Several gruesome wolf claw marks on his arm hadn't scabbed over yet. He spat on the ground resentfully. Damn it, the northern forests are full of mutated wolf packs. I was covering the rear and almost got taken out by those beasts. Then I ran into a group of savages. They attacked with wind blades without a word. Even my life-saving earth-tunneling shovel snapped. As he spoke, he pulled a shimmering emerald crystal from his chest. Slap! He slammed it onto the table. Wind gem. Your eyes widened in shock. This thing. I pried it off a savage's weapon. Consider it revenge. Cho Chang smugly handed the wind gem to you. Here, give it a feel. There are plenty of replicas in the city. Only after seeing the real thing will you stop being fooled. You carefully took the gem. The moment the gem touched your palm, in your ears, pop, a soft sound echoed. Then, countless noisy voices flooded in like a tide. Moon 12 has fallen.
Dam numans.
I'll take down 2 more today. This little sister is so cute. Come to uncle here. 3 spoons of sugar, a pinch of salt. You quickly performed an appraisal on yourself. Talent. Wind whisperer. The wind will bring you all sorts of news, whether you want to know or not. Truly, you were both shocked and delighted. Did I really awaken another new talent? And it's a passive skill that can't be turned off. You endured the chaotic noise in your head, pretending to be calm as you returned the gem to Cho Chang, while your heart was racing wildly. Noon, Iron Soul, wrong move, do it again. While practicing fire control, you guided someone who had already mastered the Ape King style, Wang Jieming. Suddenly, a raspy voice echoed in your head, and it was in stereo surround sound. Moon 6, look at those 2 brats. They look tasty. We'll eat them for lunch. You whipped your head around. 2 heavenly foxes, like inspecting goods, stood at the door, sizing up you and Wang Jieming. Your heart sank. You immediately gripped the cold jade in your pocket. Flames instantly ignited in your palm. Almost at the same time, the ground beneath your feet suddenly turned into a black hole. All 4 of you plummeted down together. A dark chamber. The 2 heavenly foxes reacted instantly, pouncing the moment they landed. You pulled Wang Jieming back violently, while shouting at the top of your lungs. Watch out, it's a monster. Flames erupted from both your palms, but were easily torn apart by one of the heavenly foxes. That 3-meter-tall monster, its claws striking straight for your vitals. You barely dodged it with a clumsy roll, shouting at an empty corner. Sister Cece, if you don't come out now, I'm a dead man. But Lu Sishan did not appear. Your and Wang Jieming's strength is an entire rank below these 2 monsters. It was a complete one-sided slaughter. You jumped around frantically, scrambling and crawling, doing your best just to stall for time. 30 seconds later, you were backed into a dead end. That Tianchang fox grinned and raised its claw. You could already smell the scent of danger. Just then, a stream of blue water shot out like a venomous snake, instantly slashing across the Tianchang fox's neck. The giant fox's head flew into the air. Golden liquid sprayed across the dark room like a fountain. You looked along the stream of water. Lu Sishan was standing in the corner, surrounded by swirling mist, like a deity descending to earth. She didn't even give you a chance to breathe. With another flick of her hand, another stream of water easily took down the other Tianchang fox. You 2 go back first. We'll talk more tonight. Before she could finish, you and Wang Jieming were bounced back to Iron Soul by an invisible force. You leaned against the stove, devouring flames in large gulps to recover your strength. Only one thought was in your mind. I'm still too weak. You gritted your teeth, squeezing out the last bit of mental energy to condense a contract gem, swallowed it in one gulp, then fell into a deep sleep by the stove. Meanwhile, City Lord's mansion, a golden giant fox without a face skin, the leader of the Tianchang foxes, Moon King, was sitting in the main seat. This week, 9 have fallen. Its voice was deep and angry. King, let's just eliminate all humans. Then do you eat grass? Chaos broke out below. Stop. As soon as the Moon King spoke, all the Tianchang foxes instantly fell silent. He looked at the Moon Prince beside him. My son, what is your opinion? Lure out the rats hiding away, and eliminate them one by one. The Moon Prince, the one wearing Luo Shiyu's face. His voice was cold. Good. Moon King slowly closed his eyes. I intend to enter hibernation, to conceal my aura. Next, it's up to you. Yes. A flash of excitement gleamed in the Moon Prince's eyes. His tall figure blocked the Moon King, giving orders to all the Tianchong foxes. From now on, I will be in command. All the Tianchong foxes responded in unison. As you command. In the dark room at night, Zhang Ping, what on earth is going on? As soon as Wang Jiaming saw you, he asked impatiently. You told him everything about the Tianchong foxes. After hearing it, Wang Jiaming's face instantly turned pale. I suspect my mother was devoured. His voice trembled. Recently, she keeps teaching me things I already knew, and she doesn't cook. You were startled. Immediately pressed down on his shoulder. Don't scare yourself first. I'll go to your house later to confirm. Wang Jiaming looked up. His eyes were bloodshot. Zhang Ping, if my mother really was devoured, what should I do? Of course, avenge your mother, and eliminate that damned beast. Lu Sishan suddenly appeared in the dark room, and said those words. You and Wang Jiaming were both startled. Sister Cece, you scared me to death. You patted your chest. Stop talking nonsense. The exotic beasts outside the city are about to riot. Lu Sishan's tone was cold. The patrol squad was taken out by the Tianchong foxes. The city defense is just for show. I won't have time to protect you from now on. You immediately replied. I know. The leader of the Tianchong foxes has hibernated, concealed his aura, so the ones outside want to come in and get a piece of the pie. The contents of the Tianchong Fox meeting. You had already used the wind speaker to hear some intel about this bunch of guys. You cursed under your breath. You actually know? Lu Sishan looked at you with some surprise, then frowned deeply. What else are they planning to do? That prince wants to observe amidst the chaos, to see who dares to step forward and fight the mutated beasts, so he can target them for elimination. You straightforwardly exposed the opponent's trump card. They intend to wipe out all the experts of Pearl City in one go. Lu Sishan sneered. Want to play an open scheme? Then let's see who dies first. The next second, you and Wang Jiaming felt the world spinning. In the blink of an eye, you were back at Iron Soul. Wang Jiaming's face was pale, grabbing your arm and asking, Zhang Ping, can I sleep here tonight? I'm afraid to go home and find someone other than my mom. You sighed. The guest room is over there. Go sleep there yourself. Late at night, the sweep team's meeting room. The Tianchong foxes want to muddy the waters, so we'll add some spice to it. Situ Shirbai, that 7,200-year-old monster, spoke with a smile. Activate the illusionary light canopy. Don't foxes love to watch? Then let them see as much as they want. Chen Ming, that mediocre prophet, pushed up his glasses. Be a bit more aggressive. Eliminate as many as possible. Although the future is unclear, my intuition tells me this wave will succeed. The next morning, Pearl City seemed calm on the surface, but there were undercurrents surging. On the street, 3 arrogant Tianchong foxes, Yue, Yu-Er, and Yusan, were staring at passers-by like they were livestock. Their strength was overwhelming, second only to that Prince Yu. I feel like the sky looks a bit fake. Yusan muttered. Stop being so paranoid. Hurry up and find some food. Yue-Er mocked. Little did they know, they had already been by the red light canopy, trapped in a dead end. In their eyes, this was a busy downtown area, but in the eyes of Jin Bo and other sweep team combatants, they were just birds in a cage. Do it! Jin Bo let out a loud roar. Golden lightning patterns instantly erupted across his body. His hair stood on end, looking like a god of war. A super scion. You stood on the distant watchtower, watching Jin Bo throw a punch, smashing the 3-meter-tall Yue directly into a concrete wall. The wall collapsed instantly. Immediately after, Tichen's eyes shot out ghostly blue cutting beams. Yuer's arm was severed at the root like cutting tofu. Screams echoed through the sky. Lu Han's psionic flying sword was even more elusive, opening a huge hole in Yusan's chest in the blink of an eye. Too strong. You couldn't help but mutter to yourself. Jin Bo gave them no chance to breathe, unleashing a flurry of attacks on the 3 foxes disoriented by the illusion. His fists were as heavy as meteorites, beating them until they wouldn't recognize their own mothers. One final heavy punch. Yuyi's vitals exploded like a watermelon. Retreat. Jin Bo didn't even glance at the remains, disappearing instantly into the mist. Suddenly, a terrifying aura descended upon the square. This Prince Yu instinctively wanted to activate. Praisal skill, but your heart suddenly tightened. That sense of danger made you break out in a cold sweat. Your intuition was screaming, if you dare to appraise, this tail could slap your head off in the next second. Damn it, the gap is too wide, completely out of my league. Gritting your teeth, you gripped the corner of Lu Sishan's clothes tightly. Prince, you landed on the square, looking at the 3 mangled remains. A beastly roar erupted from its throat. It tore the skin off its forehead, revealing its hideous true form. The terrifying pressure made you, even meters away, struggle to breathe. Sister Cece, we have to go. This guy can detect me, you said urgently. Lu Sishan snorted coldly, grabbed your collar and swept toward the city outskirts. Now you know fear. You're too weak. For the next 5 days, I'll train you until you don't even recognize yourself. If you can't hold on and perish out there, don't blame me for being ruthless. Wait, your work at Iron Soul. Wang Jiaming asked for leave for you. Now, shut up. The rocky beach outside the city. The area is jagged with rocks, exuding an aura of killing intent. Before you could even stand steady, a stream of water beside Lu Sishan whipped over like a lash, slicing a nearby pebble in half. Sister Cece, you're for real? You drew Beauty's tears, the blade, your face full of caution. This is the special training. If you can't break through within 5 days, you'll be dead when you meet the Moon Prince. For water spheres rotated rapidly around Lu Sishan. Not a hint of warmth in her eyes. Attack me with everything you've got. Otherwise, I will finish you. I'll give it my all. You shouted loudly, stepping with hip steps, moving like a nimble monkey, leaping wildly among the rocks. A cold glint flashed from the blade in your hand, aiming straight for Lu Sishan's throat. However, your movements were as slow as a snail in Lu Sishan's eyes. Before you could get close, a giant palm made of high-pressure water slapped you in the face. You crashed to the ground, feeling like your bones were falling apart. You grimaced in pain, gasping for air, but Lu Sishan gave you no chance to breathe. A barrage of water bullets swept in again. You could only roll and dodge clumsily. Is this all you've got? Lu Sishan stopped her attack, looking down at you from above. You panted heavily, replied irritably, Sister Cece, I'm only level 3. Do you expect me to fly? You haven't been pushed to the limit yet. A smirk appeared on Lu Sishan's lips. The next moment, dozens of water whips appeared out of thin air, lashing down upon you overwhelmingly. Slap! A whip lashed across your back. The pain almost made your eyes pop out. Damn it, you cursed in your head. This woman is really trying to kill me. You dared not hold back anymore. Flames erupted from both palms, forming a wall of fire, barely blocking the attack of the water whips. However, those whips were like octopus tentacles, attacking from all sorts of tricky angles. You flailed your arms and legs, jumping up and down, yet you were still lashed until your whole body burned with pain. Under the pressure of the brink of life and death, you gradually entered a strange state. All unnecessary distractions were cast aside. You began to clearly feel the rhythm of the wind. Every time you could predict the water whip's attack, blocking precisely with fire. A minute later, the fire element energy in your body was exhausted. You collapsed on the ground in total exhaustion. It can't go on. Just finish me off. You closed your eyes, acting as if you were ready for the slaughter. The water whip did not fall. Instead, it retracted to Lu Sishan's side, turning back into water spheres. You are strong. Lu Sishan walked up to you. Among those of the same level, no one is your match. Took me a year to reach intermediate level. You might be faster. 2 hours later, Yenshan Camp. You sat by the roaring campfire, frantically absorbing flames to recover your strength. Sister Cece, 500 push-ups underestimates me. Let's start with 5,000 to warm up. You found you could exercise while absorbing fire. Your stamina was almost infinite, so, like a madman, after finishing 5,000 push-ups, you began frog jumping around the campfire. Until dark, night, hydrochloric acid grassland. This is your opponent. Lu Sishan pointed to a rabbit grazing nearby, and said to you, without a word, you first used appraisal. Mutated beast, erosion water bullet rabbit. Level 9, talent, erosion water bullet. Can shoot highly corrosive erosion water from its ears. Staring at the rabbit, calculating in your mind how to strike. The surroundings are filled with sharp, poisonous acid grass. Impossible to get close. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration hit you. You released a small flame, and found that the acid grass softens when exposed to fire. So that's how it is. You understood instantly. Taking off your shirt and shoes, barefoot, you charged forward, engulfed in flames. The acid grass softened instantly beneath your feet, unable to harm you at all. The rabbit reacted quickly too. With a flick of its ears, countless black, erosion water bullets shot toward you like a shotgun. You used flames to evaporate most of the bullets, but the weapon in your hand was riddled with small holes. Damn it, you didn't have time to grieve, and thrust your weapon at the rabbit. Unexpectedly, the rabbit curled into a ball, and a large amount of acid grass liquid sprayed from its fur. Your weapon was instantly corroded until only the grip remained. You cursed, throwing away the grip. Your fists ignited with fire, and you punched directly, but the rabbit kicked its legs and vanished in an instant. Sister Cece, it got away. You shrugged helplessly, ran away, then chase it. Lu Sishan's tone left no room for doubt. Half an hour later, Salt Frost Tree Valley. In the center of the valley, a 70-meter-tall white giant tree rose from the ground. Over 20 crystal-clear fruits hung from the tree. In the valley, mutated beasts were fighting frantically in dense crowds. Golden light converged into a river. Sister Cece, did you really snatch a fruit back then? Looking at this purgatory-like scene, you swallowed hard. I said I tried to snatch it. I didn't say I succeeded. You followed her gaze and spotted the escaped rabbit. But immediately after, behind that rabbit, a dense crowd of its kind appeared. This isn't just one. This is a whole nest. Sister Cece, you knew all along. You looked at her in disbelief. Every year, they use this kind of suicidal charge to reduce their population. Lu Sishan said indifferently. Just then, in your mind, the wind whisperer let out a loud shout. Act now. Mutated beasts and awakened hidden in the shadows surged toward the salt frost tree like a tide. Some climbed rainbow stairs straight to the canopy. Some threw flying axes to build rope bridges. A group of white giant apes plowed a path like bulldozers. At the same time, a 20-meter-long white giant snake burst from the ground, opening its huge maw to devour everything frantically. The dense swarm of erosion water bullet rabbits also launched a suicidal charge. The entire valley instantly became an energy mill. Before Lu Sishan finished speaking, an ice path crystallized beneath her feet, and she dove into the battlefield like a meteor. You followed closely behind, leaping down from a height, climbing the rocks, heading straight for the largest rabbit leader. Mutated beast, erosion water bullet rabbit leader. Rank: Intermediate mutated beast. Level 10. Your heart skipped a beat, feeling the absurdity of potentially losing to a rabbit. But since I'm already here, it would be too embarrassing to give up. You picked up a rock covered in salt frost and smashed it down hard. The next moment, that rabbit leader leaped up from the spot, kicking the rock you were holding. Boom! The rock shattered, and you were sent flying by a massive force. Your arms went numb instantly. Your chest tightened, coughed up a lump of golden energy. Internal injury. You can't afford to feel the pain. A roll to dodge the incoming corrosive water. Scrambling on all fours behind a rock, gasping for air. Even a lion uses its full strength to hunt a rabbit. You actually underestimated a rabbit. This lesson was far too harsh. You peek out. Lu Sishan has already carved an ice crystal path through the siege. Suddenly, a phoenix's cry pierces the sky. A flaming small bird dives straight for the salt frost tree. Firebird. Your heart rate instantly accelerates. But immediately after, that giant white snake spews a cloud of frost mist. The firebird lets out a mournful cry and falls from the sky, just as it's swatted away by a white ape, rolling to the edge of the battlefield. You stare intently at the firebird's remains. A bold idea springs to mind. You make a split-second decision. Wearing the assassination ring, crawling toward the firebird's remains. The battlefield's geothermal heat and energy residue hit your face. You feel like you're dancing on the edge of a meat grinder. Thump! A massive pig head crashes in front of you. You shudder in fright. After bypassing it, you retreat back. You pry open the pig's mouth. A black bead rolls out. No time to appraise it. You stuff it in your pocket and keep moving. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning sweeps across. The firebird's remains are instantly cut in half. You dash forward in one stride, picking up half of the charred firebird, and turn to run, back behind the rock. You're as exhausted as a lifeless dog. You take out the black bead and begin the appraisal. Appraisal successful. Nether Mist Treasure Bead. Formed after the fall of the Nether Mist Black Goat. Its energy core coalesced. After absorption, there's a 1% chance to gain the ability to manipulate Nether Mist. You look at the appraisal results, falling into silence. To absorb or not to absorb? That is truly a philosophical question. Su Jingyao's mimicked disguise flashes before your eyes. The Moon Prince's unsettling smile appears. The despair of being under the Tianchong Fox's claws surfaces. A weak me. Do I have the right to be picky? You give a self-deprecating smile. Tilting your head back, you absorb the bead. The next second, intense pain surges from your abdomen. You curl up into a ball, feeling something surge from your stomach into your brain. Then, Black mist begins to seep from every pore of your body. 5 minutes later, the pain subsides. You slump on the ground. You perform an appraisal on yourself. Level 9. Potential 5 stars. Lifespan 99. New talent.
Audite.
When absorbing special items, there is a 10% chance to obtain a corresponding special physique. New talent. Nether mist body. Can convert the fear of living beings into manipulatable nether mist. It was worth it. You almost burst out laughing. Leveled up 6 times in a row. Lifespan increased by 10 years. Plus 2 insanely overpowered talents. Especially this one. Nether mist can actually damage enemies of a higher level. Awesome. As you keep laughing, tears begin to fall. The feeling of becoming stronger is wonderful. You use fire to restore your stamina. Looking at the rabbit leader not far away. Time to settle the score. With a flick of your finger, a mass of nether mist instantly shoots out. The rabbit leader reacted quickly. That rabbit leader reacted incredibly fast, kicking towards the nether mist. Another kick at the nether mist, striking the nether mist with its leg. But the next second, the nether mist pierces straight from its leg to its vitals. Fatal blow, carrying the 40-pound rabbit back behind the rock, using nether mist as a small knife, skinning it and removing the organs, roasting it over the fire, sprinkling salt scraped from the ground. A strange aroma of meat instantly wafts through the air. You tear off a rabbit leg, take a bite, take another bite, crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, bursting with juice. This scent, incredible. However, you overlooked one thing. At the edge of the battlefield, 3 black-skinned, red-eyed corpse-eating hounds with human teeth smelled the meat. They rushed towards you like mad. Just as you jumped up, a corpse-eating hound pounced from behind. Another attacked from the front. In a flash, the underworld mist knife in your hand became a flying dagger. With a strange curve, it pierced straight through the vital spot of the hound behind you. You used the momentum to retreat. Your right hand swept out a wall of fire to block the frontal attack. Immediately after, the flying dagger shot out from the flames and heavily wounded the vital spot of another. Corpse-eating hounds. You recognized these things. Your expression changed. The moment you jumped, the ground exploded. A third corpse-eating hound burst from the soil. Opening its massive maw, it bit toward your crotch. To finish you off, you were shocked and terrified. The underworld mist flying dagger struck again, pinning it directly to the ground. You touched your crotch. Cold sweat poured down. If that had hit, the consequences would have been unthinkable. Did you deal with them? Just as you were about to handle the remains of the hounds, Lu Sishan returned. She was spotless, and was holding a saltfrost fruit in her hand. Just as you were about to speak, a cold whip of water had silently pressed against your neck. Sister Cece, what are you doing? You raised your hands, looking completely bewildered. Lu Sishan didn't speak. She walked over and flipped your eyelids, then went behind you to check. Only then did she withdraw the water whip. Did you encounter an underworld mist mutated beast? She asked with a serious face. You sensed something was wrong, so you told her everything that happened in detail. You couldn't hide it anyway. Once you go back to the city for appraisal, everything will be stripped bare. After listening to your story, Lu Sishan fell silent. She turned around, taking several deep breaths. Suddenly, she spun around and pinned you against a rock, yelling, "Zhang Ping, do you have a death wish? How dare you eat things of unknown origin? Do you realize you almost died? Almost died? You were incredulous. Appraisal isn't omnipotent." Lu Sishan's voice trembled slightly. That thing you ate was a parasite. Once parasitized, your consciousness would dissipate. You asked what the downside was. You instantly recalled that hallucinated scream during the stomach pain. So that damn thing wanted to possess you. Wait, you thought about your attribute panel, where Strange Eater was listed before Underworld Mist Body. Could it be that the Strange Eater digested that parasite? Listen up, Zhang Ping. Lu Sishan's tone was more solemn than ever. There's no such thing as a free lunch in this world. If it were really that easy to gain superpowers, Mingzhu City would have been full of dual ability awakeners long ago. Only then did you belatedly break into a cold sweat. Returning to the camp tent, you took the water and saltfrost fruit Lu Sishan handed you. Took a bite. Your face instantly crumpled like a bitter melon. Heavens, this thing is salty enough to kill someone. You gulped down several mouthfuls of water. Didn't your teacher tell you? Don't drink random water from others in the wild. Lu Sishan suddenly asked. The next second, your eyes widened, feeling something churning violently in your stomach. Your entire body, suddenly with a splash, turned into a puddle of water. Lu Sishan was also stunned. She reached out and touched some of the liquid, muttering, "Pure water. Sister Cece, you're poking my stomach." Your voice came from the water, Half an hour later, you finally managed to regain human form, a person composed of pure water. You performed an appraisal on yourself. Potential 6 stars. New talent. Pure water body. Body can transform into pure water form. In pure water form, you can absorb moisture to recover stamina and heal injuries. Another ability added. You feel like today is your lucky day. Can you change back? Lu Sishan's tone was somewhat worried. Piece of cake. With a thought, your body gradually changed from water back to its original form. The injuries on your body were also completely healed. Put your clothes on first. Lu Sishan threw the clothes to you. She turned around. You awkwardly put on your clothes. You noticed a layer of dust beneath your old clothes. The pure water body can also repel impurities. You had a thought. Lu Sishan turned around. Looking at your arm that was still in pure water form, she said irritably, "Keep eating. Don't let it go to waste." She admitted it. The next day, an empty valley. "Come on, let's test your new ability." Without a word, Lu Sishan started attacking. A water whip swept toward you. Being pure water, you took the hit head-on. The water whip merged into your body. Lu Sishan instantly felt she had lost control over that part of the water. As expected, it counters me, she thought to herself. Next, ice spikes, boiling water, and various attacks came one after another. Although you screamed repeatedly, you were completely unharmed. Now, you attack me. Lu Sishan deployed a water bubble for defense. "I like this one." Before you finished speaking, an underworld mist flying knife had already pierced the bubble, hovering right before Lu Sishan's forehead. Her pupils contracted. Cold sweat broke out. If you had intended to kill just now, she would have perished. Why can the underworld mist surpass levels? You retracted the flying knife, asking curiously. Some scholars speculate that it might be the descendant of a king-class mutated beast. King. The image of Prince Yu appeared in your mind, and your heart sank. After a whole day of testing, you had a comprehensive understanding of your new abilities. Underworld mist can absorb fear within 10 meters. Attacks consume a huge amount of energy, but the power is incredibly strong. The pure water body is immune to most physical attacks, but elementalization takes 1 second. Moreover, stamina consumption doubles in high-temperature environments. You even developed a new move, chainsaw form. Lu Sishan gave you a verdict. Your current strength is roughly half of a high level, but your level is too low right now. Your stamina and mental strength can't withstand a high-intensity battle. To put it simply put, your endurance is too poor, and your combat experience is practically zero. If you encounter a serious high-level awakened, you'll have no choice but to run. At dusk, you both returned to the camp. You go back first. I need to head back to the city tonight. Lu Sishan stopped at the entrance. Be careful on the way. You nodded. You walked into the camp. A group of salt transporters gathered around the campfire. You leaned in, just in time to hear them discussing strange events in the city. Have you heard? The bun shop owner turned into a piece of skin. I heard people have gone missing from the Dragon Spear Armory too. Listening to their discussion, you felt a hint of fear drifting from them, which you quietly absorbed. Actually, you lowered your voice, interrupting mysteriously. I know some inside information about this. Actually, there are several similar cases, all of which were suppressed by the higher-ups. The surrounding salt transporters gasped. The eerie atmosphere instantly peaked. Standing in the crowd, you enjoyed the pleasure of fear transforming into underworld mist. Late at night, you sat by the campfire, looking at the belt made of underworld mist around your waist. A thought popped into your head. If I tell ghost stories here, I wonder if I can absorb fear? Just do it. You controlled the underworld mist to cover your face, instantly turning into a dynamically changing skull mask. A salt transporter waking up nearby saw you, let out a scream, and fainted from terror. You quickly dissipated the mask and ran over, pressing the philtrum, slapping the face. Finally managed to wake him up, but then, the guy caught a glimpse of you, rolled his eyes back and fainted again. You dragged him to the campfire, returned to the tent, used a puddle of water as a mirror, and gave yourself a fright. That face made of ghostly mist was absolutely ghastly. The guy by the campfire woke up again. He looked up and saw a skull face reflected in the tent, let out a scream, and fainted magnificently for the 3rd time. You silently lowered the tent, decided to use this move in future battles. It'll definitely scare the enemies senseless.
4 Uhr nachts.
Lu Sishan returned. Her face bore exhaustion and sorrow. Something happened. While organizing the materials she brought back, she said in a low voice, "The Moon Prince came out to hunt. Jean Bo took people to probe. As a result, Jinbo was seriously injured, and 2 teammates perished. Your training ends here. We return to the city at dawn. What ability did the Moon Prince use? Your heart tightened. Only its tail. Lu Sishan's voice was slightly hoarse. His tail can split and retract fast, and has extreme penetration power. After hearing this, a chill ran down your spine. If you had used appraisal on it back then, you would be a lifeless corpse by now. Can't you gain constitutions by eating things? These materials are for your testing. Lu Sishan pointed to a pile of metal on the bed. You picked up a black iron block and asked, what if I get metal poisoning? Don't worry, I brought an antidote. You steeled yourself. Your mouth turned into pure water, opened a giant maw, and swallowed the iron block whole. The next second, you felt your internal organs churning. Sister Cece, what on earth is this? You rolled around in pain. An iron block. Lu Sishan's tone had a hint of amusement. You quickly used appraisal. It really was an iron block coated in deadly poison. Why coat it in poison? You asked angrily. To test your resistance, and to see if you could obtain a venomous constitution. You felt like you were about to be poisoned to death, just as you wanted to curse, just as you wanted to lash out. Lu Sishan reminded you, why not try turning into pure water? Your body instantly turned into pure water. Sure enough, the feeling of poisoning vanished. I asked the captain for you. Seeing you recover, Lu Sishan said seriously, he suggests you focus on 1 or 2 abilities, and master them to the limit. Your abilities will keep increasing, but human energy is limited. You completely agreed. Situ Shirbai, that copy ability user. His advice definitely carries weight. So, you steeled your resolve. All the materials Lu Sishan brought back, whether they were poisonous or not, you stuffed them into your stomach one by one. A few hours later, you collapsed on the bed, feeling like you were about to throw up, yet you didn't gain a single new ability. Seems it's not very reliable. You turned into a puddle of water, wriggling around on the bed, finally returned to human form, and said to Lu Sishan, Sister Cece, I've decided, for now, I'll focus on ghostly mist and pure water body. Meanwhile, the cleanup team headquarters. Situ Shirbai tapped his finger. The entire office instantly turned black and white. Captain, a shadow figure appeared before him. The whereabouts of the investigation team. Have they been cleared up? Situ Shirbai asked without looking up. Team 19 has left the city. No abnormalities found in the 3 teams within the city.
No abnormalities.
Is the biggest abnormality itself. Situ Shirbai sneered. Go check on Captain Susu of the high team. See how severe her injuries actually are. He knew very well that the Heavenly Fox can infiltrate silently. There must be an insider helping them. The patrol team was completely wiped out. Then, the surviving investigation team seems extremely suspicious. After Shadow Chun Ming received orders and vanished, Situ Shirbai looked at the map, his gaze deep. He stood up, his body splitting in 2. One continued handling official business, while the other pushed open the office door. Outside the door were the streets of Mingzhu City. As soon as dawn broke, you and Lu Sishan returned to Mingzhu City. After bidding farewell to Lu Sishan, you returned to Iron Soul. Why are you back early? Cho Chang asked with a smile. I learned quickly. You smiled and prepared to go upstairs, but just as you took a step, you found that Cho Chang and Lu Taifeng had both frozen. You turned around abruptly. An old man with white hair and beard was standing at the door, smiling. That gaze seemed as if it could see right through you. Who are you? You put down your luggage and fully armed yourself. Don't you have appraisal skills? Just appraise me and you'll know. The old man teased. Appraisal failed. Appraisal failed 66 times. Your heart sank, but you had already guessed his identity. Captain of the sweep team, Situ Shirbai. Stop appraising. It's useless. Situ Shirbai walked into the shop and went straight to the second floor. You poured a cup of tea and asked cautiously, how should I address you? Quite slippery. Situ Shirbai saw through your probe instantly. Through the wind whisperer. Haven't you already learned my name? Your heart skipped a beat. Then, Situ Shirbai smiled faintly again. Before you can block mind-reading abilities, it's best not to think too much. You immediately commanded your mind to go blank. Since then, Mingzhu City hasn't seen an infinite level in over 200 years. Situ Shirbai put down the teacup. Looking at you, you say, could I possibly not come and see? He got straight to the point. I am curious whether my ability can actually copy an infinite level. He reached out, pulled an exaggerated scythe and a golden bracelet from a black hole, and placed them on the table. Scythe of fear, capable of inducing fear, absorbing energy to evolve. Golden vault, 450 cubic meters of storage space. He looked at you. Regardless of the result, these 2 items, plus plus answers to all your questions, will be your reward. You looked at the 2 divine artifacts on the table, your breathing quickening, especially that scythe. It was practically tailor-made for you. You used appraisal to confirm the attributes, and saw the cruel images from when they were forged. You hesitated. I agree. In the end, you agreed. Situ Shirbai offered simply too much. He reached out and pressed his palm against yours. A second later, he sighed softly. It's over. You were somewhat confused. It's over? Situ Shirbai shook his head. Your ability, I cannot copy. Though disappointed, he wasn't surprised. Then, he helped you bind the equipment, and then began to answer your questions. Elder Situ, you are so powerful, why don't you act to deal with Prince Moon? This was the question you found most baffling. It's not that I won't act, but that I cannot. Situ Shirbai walked to the window and said in a deep voice, Mingzhu City has the king-grade artifact, the Sun Moon Pearl. Any king-grade mutated beast that enters will be downgraded. But now, you understood instantly, your face turning pale. There is a traitor in the city, remnants of the Zhu family. A hint of sorrow flashed in Situ Shirbai's eyes. He told you about that dark history from 200 years ago, a family that treated humans as slaves and fodder. Why didn't you deal with these scoundrels back then? You clench your fists, burning with rage. Situ Shirbai gave a bitter smile. The situation is far more complex than you think. After a long conversation, the situation in Mingzhu City gradually became clear to you. Now, the most important thing is to find the traitor and investigate the background of the Tianchong Fox King. And the only one who can see through the Tianchong Fox's disguise is you. Your mission is to investigate that damn Moon Prince. For the next few days, your life revolved around 3 locations. Studying mining during the day, practicing boxing in the early night, and in the late night transforming into the Grim Reaper, wandering the streets of Mingzhu City, searching for those hiding in the shadows. The cleanup crew monitored the whole city, but found nothing. This in itself explained the problem. You knew very well that the remnants of the beast-taming Zhu family must have used some means to evade surveillance. Midnight, you drift through the streets like a ghost, scaring a few drunks along the way to collect some high-quality fear. Suddenly, you spot 3 suspicious individuals. They emerge from a residence, carrying eerie green lanterns in their hands, weaving through the alleys. You quietly follow them, finding that they stop near a mansion, and begin setting up some kind of barrier. You immediately contact Lu Sishan. Sister Cece, number 13 Tianhua Road. There are 3 suspicious guys. Got it. I'll ask Manny. Lu Sishan's voice comes from the badge, with the sound of chaotic fighting in the background. Soon, Manny replies, nothing unusual on Tianhua Road. Even you can't see them? Something's wrong. Lu Sishan immediately realizes something is off. Don't act rashly. Wait for me to get there. You put away the badge, transforming into a giant black python shrouded in dark mist, silently climbing onto the roof to observe from above. You see the 3 men break the mansion's barrier with a few stones. You cast an appraisal on the stones. Dragon suppressing stone, capable of overriding most barriers. The process of creating this thing shocks you once again. Cast using the origin power of living awakened. Your gaze gradually firms. You add another target in your heart. You absolutely cannot let the beast-taming Zhu family rise from the ashes. The 3 of them sneak into the mansion, as if searching for someone. You observe patiently until they bring out a sleeping girl from a room. Oh no, they're escaping. You immediately follow and simultaneously cast an appraisal on the girl. Name, Chun Junting. Talent, Holy Light Body. Potential 12 stars. The origin within the body has the power to touch all life. 12-star potential. You gasp in shock, although you don't understand what the Holy Light Body is actually useful for. You absolutely cannot let them take her. Your face is covered in dark mist, holding the scythe of fear, leaping down from the roof like the descent of the Grim Reaper. My God, the man guarding the rear sees your face and is instantly terrified. With one swipe of your blade, you strike his vitals. Huang San is gone. The leader, a man with crimson eyes, changes expression. Huang Wu, go stop him. The other henchman stops immediately, raising both hands, as countless rocks erupt from the ground, crashing toward you like a meteor shower. You turn into pure water, letting the rocks pass right through you, completely unharmed. But at that moment, a dark mist flying dagger suddenly shoots from the end of the scythe, piercing through the layers of rock, instantly piercing the forehead of the one called Huang Wu. You run past his remains, feeling an unprecedented surge of pure purple fear flowing into your body. The dark mist cloak on your body becomes even more solid. You find that you can even float off the ground, moving faster than a bullet. You become a black shadow, rapidly chasing after the last crimson-eyed man. Suddenly, a sharp arrow shot from the side, striking your vital point directly. You turned into a pool of water. Quickly reforming, a masked archer landed before you. Without a word, another arrow crackling with electricity shot forth. Swish, a water whip lashed from afar, knocking the arrow down. Ignore me, save the others, you shouted toward Lu Sishan. Lu Sishan didn't hesitate, immediately turning to pursue. In the alley, only you and the masked archer remained. Rookie, the masked man shot an arrow into the sky. The moment you looked up, he appeared behind you like a ghost. An electric dagger stabbed deep into your back. You were instantly zapped into a pool of charred liquid. Remember, in your next life, never take your eyes off the enemy. The masked man sneered, taking out kerosene to destroy the evidence. But just then, countless spikes suddenly shot out from the charred liquid, piercing straight through his hand. Thank you for the lesson. Your face emerged from the liquid, your tone chilling. Countless underworld mist flying knives shot from your body, forcing the masked man into a panic. He miscalculated. He didn't know what your ability actually was. The masked man underestimated you too much. A 16-year-old rookie. How strong could they be? His ring, capable of 100,000 volts, combined with the lethal poison on the dagger. Anyone below top tier would surely fall. But he was wrong. His reliance on experience betrayed him. Like a seasoned pro, you wore him down with flying knives from a distance. After several dozen minutes, when he had nowhere left to dodge, 30 flying knives launched at once. One struck his knee with precision. The battle was over, but you were cautious. Looking at his battered body, you still didn't dare get close. You landed a few more strikes, only to find he still hadn't fallen. Enough, just finish me off, the masked man said with difficulty. My God, he's still not down. You were startled, gaining a new understanding of an awakened's vitality. While using fire to recover your strength, you kept observing him. This time, you didn't waste any more words, directly condensing flying knives to strike his vitals. Truly cautious, the masked man gave a bitter smile, suddenly smashing the ring on his finger.
Danger.
Your hair stood on end instantly. Underworld mist wrapped around you in layers. A bolt of lightning descended from the sky. The masked man was instantly turned to ash. The windows of surrounding houses were all shattered. You were blown away by the aftershock of the thunderbolt. Your heart pounded wildly. Too much noise. The Tianchong Fox was alerted. You immediately contacted Lu Sishan. Sister Cece, retreat now. Meanwhile, City Lord's mansion. Prince Moon leaped out the window. The tails behind him branched infinitely, covering the entire city like a giant net. All the eyes on the tails opened. Inside the sweep team's barrier room, Manny, in charge of monitoring, her expression changed. This is bad. The 10 Constant Fox is making a move. She made a decisive call, teleporting Lu Sishan, who was fighting the red-eyed man, back to the secret room. On the other side, before the red-eyed man could react, Prince Moon appeared before him. Luo Xiu. The red-eyed man recognized this face, but he knew even better that the one before him was Prince Moon. You know me? Prince Moon narrowed his eyes. With a flick of a tail, he pulled him close. It sniffed the blade marks on the wall, sneering. You all fought to seize her. I don't know what you're talking about, the red-eyed man stubbornly replied. Interesting. Prince Moon grinned savagely. A tail pierced straight through his vitals. It picked up the unconscious Chun Junting, muttering to itself, if I eat you, would it be interesting? At this moment, Chun Junting woke up. She looked at the Moon Prince and smiled sweetly. Sister, you are so beautiful. The Moon Prince's raised hand froze. It wanted to get rid of this girl, but simply couldn't bring itself to do it. Turned around and roared hoarsely, Yueying, deal with her. Yueying leaped out from the shadows, but in the next moment, its claws plunged into its own shoulder. Your Highness, I can't do it. The Moon Prince trembled all over, its tail stopping before Chun Junting at the last second, a huge sense of guilt arising in its heart. Finally, it gritted its teeth and decided to take Chun Junting back to the City Lord's mansion first. Through the Wind Whisperer, you heard fragments of the conversation, confirming your suspicion. Chun Junting's ability is definitely not simple. You returned to the alley amidst the chaos and began scavenging for loot. Enduring the discomfort, you looted a copper ring lantern and a ring from the two remains. Just then, a burst of flame exploded beside you. A red-haired youth walked out with a roguish air. Buddy, that one is yours. How about it? You slowly turned around, the face of death condensing on your visage. The black cloak fluttered without wind. You raised the scythe of fear and asked in a hollow voice, what did you say? The red-haired youth's legs went weak from fear, and he collapsed onto the ground. Big brother, let's talk this through. You just looked at him coldly, the scythe stopping right at his throat. Massive amounts of purple fear surged from his head, all of it absorbed by you. Remember to keep your eyes open next time. You retracted the scythe, picked up the loot, and turned to vanish into the darkness. The next day, upon waking, you saw the Moon Prince's tails sweeping across the city sky. The phantom light canopy had basically failed. Mingzhu City would face the onslaught of mutated beasts head-on. Your heart sank, so you had no choice but to stay quietly at Iron Soul and Forge. Meanwhile, at the City Lord's mansion, the Moon Prince looked at Chun Junting with a headache. This girl's ability was too eerie. Not only could it not feel hostility toward her, couldn't even refuse her requests, now could only keep this little ancestor by its side, lest she convert the entire Tianchong Fox clan. Sister Luo Xiu, won't your family worry about you? Chun Junting asked, blinking her innocent large eyes. I have no family, the Moon Prince answered bluntly. I don't have a mother either. I grew up with my grandfather since I was little. He never let me go out. It was hard to escape, and I refused to go back. Chun Junting poured you a cup of tea, and said with a giggle, Sister, drink more. The tea I brew is the tastiest. The Moon Prince looked at the water clearly brewed from low-quality tea leaves, then looked at Chun Junting's expectant expression. Finally, it gritted its teeth and drank it all. As a result, after a pot of tea, it was forced to go to the restroom, even recalling the Five Tails monitoring the whole city. The moment the Moon Prince left, in a secret room of the City Lord's mansion, a man named Zhu Ziming entered a white, misty space through a special ritual. Zhu Ziming, what happened last night? An old man demanded sternly. Great Elder, it was a mole from the cleanup squad. A kid named Zhang Ping ruined our plans. Zhu Ziming answered humbly, but please rest assured, I will deal with him tonight. As for Chun Junting, she is currently in the hands of the fox. I will get her out as soon as possible. She is the key to dealing with that old fellow Situ Shirbai. Yes, you are in the restroom appraising last night's loot, that crimson lantern. After injecting your nether mist, it actually evolved into the ghost lantern. Its effect is absolute invisibility against anyone below king rank. This is practically a divine artifact. You also appraised the copper ring and the ring. As expected, their creation processes were filled with cruelty. Gritting your teeth, you put all these items into the golden treasury. Zhang Ping, are you taking a dump? Why is it taking so long? Cho Chang's voice came from outside the door. Cleaning squad headquarters. Meeting room. Situ Shirbai was reviewing last night's operation. See, go to the equipment room and pick out 2 pieces of gear. One for yourself, and one for Zhang Ping as a reward. Situ Shirbai looked at Lu Sishan with a suggestive look. Understood. Lu Sishan understood immediately. This was a hint for her to find you tonight. Chun Ming wanted to object, but Situ Shirbai shut him up with a single sentence. This time, I will personally cover for Cici. City Lord's mansion, corridor. Zhu Ziming stopped a heavenly constant fox in the act. Help me deal with someone. He handed over a crescent wolf's canine tooth. Deal. The heavenly constant fox agreed without hesitation. Night. Beast King Boxing Gym. You are learning a new move, the Phoenix Claw style. You distributed the incredibly expensive secret medicine to everyone, cursing the gym 100 times in your head. During free sparring, you walked toward Wang Jiaming. Let's spar. I haven't even mastered the basics yet. Wang Jiaming said bashfully. It's fine, just give it a try. You said with a smile. You knew in your heart that while you were gone these past few days, Wang Jiaming must have been beaten up quite